Hi again, this is Eric Hernandez of the Rabblecast, sitting here with DJ Hyde. How are you doing, sir?
Eric. It's good to see you.
Pretty good. Are you enjoying yourself at the convention here?
It could always be better.
Now, you're involved with CZW.
I hope I am.
Well, we've talked about it at length on the show.
Yes.
The different shows that you guys run, the Cage of Death tournament, some crazy stuff that goes on there.
Correct.
But you also have some really good wrestling matches as well. So it's not just...
Well, the idea behind Combat Zone Wrestling, since I took over the company, is a little bit different than what it was in prior year. Basically, what my vision is a hybrid company. I don't want just the best ultra-violent wrestlers there are. I don't want just the greatest wrestlers there are, or a niche-type product. I want to give fans a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I kind of call it the buffet table. If you hear me talk about it a lot to any of the wrestlers, I want them all to experience something. So maybe you don't like, maybe you're not a fan of the hardcore stuff. Maybe that's just not something you're into. So maybe you like the great wrestlers that are out there. You know, the guys that are the top independent guys, the Sami Callahans, the Adam Coles. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you like the hard hitters, guys like Joker, guys like myself. Maybe you like the crazy ultra violence, you know, guys like Masada and Danny Havoc. Maybe you like hot girls like Mia Yim, Kimberly, Nevaeh. You know, maybe you like comedy guys like Greg Excellence, you know, Shane Strickland, guys that give you, you know, what you want. And I think that CZW has something for everybody, and that's where it's going.
Okay.
And then we obviously do have our niche type shows where we have Best of the Best, which is our pure wrestling tournament. It's one of the most prestigious, biggest tournaments in the United States. And then we have a Tournament of Death, which is purely nothing but violence, which is actually upcoming here very shortly. So, I mean, it's a totally opposite end of the spectrum type of a thing, but it is something that, you know, it gives a little bit for everybody. So maybe this isn't for you. You know, it's like ice cream. Some people like to put it that way, and I do get long-winded, just so you know, because I like to talk a lot. But maybe you like chocolate, I like vanilla, but it's still ice cream, and we all like ice cream. And I want it to be the 57 flavors. I want to be the Baskin-Robbins, so to say, of professional wrestling, that it's not just a niche. Okay. It's not just this or that. And to be honest, what the company was based off is off ECW, and ECW was exactly that. But it was known for the hardcore. But there was guys there like, you know, Chris Benoit. There was guys there like, I don't know, Guerrero, Mysterio, great wrestlers, great luchadors. And then there's this guy, Steve Austin, that was there. It's this great character, great mic work guy. Then they had guys like the Blue Meanie, who was fat and funny, and I mean, they had a whole Blue World Order who happened to be here today. You know, and it was a different thing. And then you have the hot girls like Beulah and Tammy and all those people. So that's what I'm going for.
Now, let me ask you this, because when I first met you, we were in at the locker room for one of Smoothie's shows in Delaware. That was the first time that I...
Funky White Boys. Yeah.
My question to you is, as a worker or a wrestler, as well as a promoter, where do you stand on certain things? Like, how does that affect you making decisions as far as CZW is concerned?
I think one of the greatest benefits to me becoming a promoter is it has opened my eyes on what professional wrestling is and what I was originally taught by the people who smartened me up. I've been wrestling going on 12 years. I've been promoting almost 3. I probably didn't get really smart in the business till I was probably about 6-7 years in the business. There's this one guy, his name's Al Snow, basically pulled me aside and smartened me up. I've done WWE dark matches. I've been an extra, and people don't know what extra is that's when you're a security guard or you're one of these indie guys sitting in the back. Hey, I held a torch at one WrestleMania, and I would look like I was an Undertaker clone.
You were a druid, you were a gangster, you were a security guard.
I've done tons of that stuff. I've done business with TNA. I've wrestled in about 42 countries now. I've wrestled in 27 states. I've wrestled guys that are names and... You know, I mean, hell, Sean Waltman standing 2 minutes from us. I've wrestled him, Kevin Nash's, and Bob Holly's, and all those guys. And at some point or another, and it really didn't smarten me up until Al really pulled me aside. And then he said, look, I'm going to teach you stuff that at some point in your career, a light bulb's going to go off in your head, and you're going to go, oh, I'm an idiot. why didn't I do this when I was, 1 year in the business? And I think that was something that really helped me. And as a promoter, do I make decisions like that? I have my own ways. Obviously, everybody does. And I have a certain view on professional wrestling. I have a certain belief that was taught to me on what it is. And I don't think a lot of people in the business know that anymore, and I think the business has gotten diluted, and I think that's one of the reasons why the business is where it is. So instead of independent crowds that were 10, 15 years ago were drawing in the thousands, are now 200 fans is a good independent show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are happy with that. And to me, it's because there's so many promotions out there now that are not doing the right things. Not to say that I always do the right thing, because I'm not perfect or anything like that, nor is CZW, but it's one of those things where they don't understand what wrestling is and what it's supposed to be, and I think that's the biggest problem.
A lot of shows you get, especially in local areas for people, you'll get shows who they'll get the ticket sellers, people who want to wrestle in front of their families, people who want to get their friends, out so they can see them in their first professional match. Stuff like that might not be the right way to go about it, because you're just hot shotting somebody into the ring who might not have the wrestling experience or training.
I'm not going to call anybody out or anything like that, but basically, I'll tell you, anybody who watches this is plain and simple. Professional wrestling is a business, nothing more. It's a profession. I am a worker. Workers make money. I'm not a wrestler. If you want to be a wrestler, highspots.com, go buy some gear, buy some boots. That's great. You can parade around, backyard wrestlers, whatever. I'm a worker. Okay? I live, I breed, I feed my family by doing this. Okay? There's nothing else that I do. I don't have a shoot job. I'm not a weekend warrior. I'm not out selling tickets. Okay, saying, please come see me. I'm at the school training. I go to the gym, although I haven't looked like it lately, that's for sure. But that's what it is. People nowadays don't do that. I have professional wrestling gear, custom-made gear, not a pair of jean shorts or I don't know, think of something, a T-shirt, okay? If that's your gimmick or your character, hey, I can understand that sometimes. But most guys nowadays, they don't. And they don't pride themselves on that. And a lot of things, in the business nowadays are, like I said, diluted. Hey, we'll just say, I'll just use one of my school. I'll use the CZW Wrestling Academy as an example.
Sure.
I'm one of the trainers. I train you. You've been wrestling about a year. Me and you have a disagreement. You think you know what you're doing, and I'm telling you you're an idiot. Because you really don't. You don't have the experience that I have and been in the positions I have. And you go, well, screw DJ. I'm going to go. I got some money. I'm going to open my own school. I'm going to run shows. And there's a lot of people in the business nowadays that do that.
Yes.
And they can book their friends, and their friends will work for free. The reason their friends and their buddies and some of these guys work for free is either they just want to do it, because, I want to be cool. I'm a wrestler. Or, they just, they have the passion, but they can't get there. They can't get to that point. And most people think WWE is the end-all, be-all, and that's where I have to go. It's not.
No, not at all.
Okay, I mean, I've been making a living off of this, and not as a promoter, as a wrestler, for quite some time now. Where I pay my $800 a month mortgage, I pay my $200 a month cell phone bill, and the $8,000 diamond ring that my girlfriend has on her hand, and the wedding, and wherever else we go, and whatever else we
jet.
Yeah, I wish. But that's how I make my living. I pay my gym membership that way. I pay all my bills by doing this, and guys don't have that invested. Like, there's a lot of guys in the business now, and we'll use Funky White Boys at JD Smoothies. There's a lot of guys that wrestle there that's all they wrestle is there. They don't know what is out there, and they're telling me, you should book me in CZW and blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at them like, I would never use you, man. They go, well, I can draw you fans and blah, 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 blah in Philly. I live 10 minutes from the arena. Okay, well, guess what? July of this year, I'm running a show in Corrigan Hall in Tokyo, and that's a shoot. We legit are.
Okay.
All right, what are you going to draw me there? What are you going to draw me when I'm running Ohio on June 9th? I don't know. You're 150 pounds. Like, you're not, and I don't have a problem with people that are small. I love people that are small. But you're 150 pounds, and you're fatter than I am.
Oh.
It's one of the reasons why, like, at our wrestling academy, I'm not here to take people's money. You guys, anybody watches this at home, and you want to come to CZW Wrestling Academy, you better come and be serious. Take this serious, because if you screw up, you are costing me money. All right, that's why we do a tryout. We will put you through a tryout to see if you want to be here. If you don't, please go someplace else. Please, they will take your money, okay, gladly. And don't think I don't need your money, because I definitely do, because we got bills to pay. All right, but they will take your money and teach you how to be a wrestler. I will bring you in. I will teach you how to be a worker and how to make money. And I have a pretty good track record so far of doing it. And that's what it's all about. It's a business, and guys don't understand it nowadays.
That's a very good point to make right there. If somebody was going to come out and say they'd never seen the CZW show before, what would you tell them to entice them to come out?
Usually when somebody goes, I haven't seen CZW before, I usually go, what do you like? And then I recommend something for them. And I say, okay, you like this guy? You like this kind of wrestling? Because everybody's different. It's kind of like guys. Some guys like brunettes, some guys like blondes, some guys like redheads, some guys like legs, some guys like tits, some guys like ass, some guys like faces, blue eyes, whatever it is. In CZW, we have something like that. So I'm like, are you like wrestling? You need to check this Sami Callihan and Adam Cole guy. They're right here, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times, like even today, I've given away a couple of free DVDs and stuff. Just say, look, check this out. Come to a show, check it out. If you don't like it or something's not to your liking, say you go, well, I didn't like that crazy, bloody, blah, 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 blah. I'll go, well, did you like Sami and Adam? Oh, they were awesome. Really. And that's something that baffles me in another aspect, but that's what I say. You're going to find something you like there. And if you don't, then tell me. And I'm as a character, I'm probably the most hated guy. Seriously, people have thrown bottles and hit me in the head. I've had fans chop me. Don't believe me? Go back and watch our shows. Aerial Assault from this year, the entire crowd, including my fiance, chopped me. Okay. But
did you just sneak that one in there?
Oh, long story.
Okay,
But
fair enough.
I've done that a couple of times. But it's something that people look at CZW specifically, and all they think is we use barbed wire and light tubes, because that's what they saw in 60 Minutes, where they hear Tournament of Death,
yes,
Cage of Death, and then I go, well, here, watch Best of the Best, and they go, oh my God, we didn't know you did this. Or I have literally, I've wrestled at ECWA, which is very known for its Super 8 company, and Adam Cole's out there wrestling Keikoa, and I had a guy literally come up to me and go, man, that Adam Cole looks really good for wrestling barbed wire and light tubes every month. And I looked at him and I go, huh? He goes, yeah, that's all y'all do. I'm like, dude, we're an hour away. Have you ever seen a CZW show? I gave him Best of the Best. He's at every one of my events now.
Week in and week out, we cover the different wrestling news and rumors that are on the internet and just around in general. And whenever it comes to CZW, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that comes out is the super violent matches, the weapons matches, the light tubes, and stuff like you're talking about. The best of the best stuff kind of gets buried sometimes, doesn't get its due. And then we've had both Sami Callihan and Adam Cole on our show previously, and they talk about the stuff that they go through, and you don't hear about the super violent stuff. You don't hear about that. Well,
the best way I can explain this to people is I go, you know who CM Punk is? Yeah, he wrestled in CZW. You know who Bryan Danielson is? Yeah, he wrestled in CM. Oh, wait, Eddie Kingston? Oh, Chikara's top guy? Oh, where did he make his name? Oh, CZW. Chris Hero. Oh, Claudio Castagnoli. Oh, I'm sorry, can't call him that. Antonio, sorry. Dean Ambrose, who you're going to see on Raw in about a month, by the way.
Talking about him recently.
Oh, wait. The other 50 guys that are down at FCW, or even the 3 guys that I have now trained that are there. Oh, wait. The guys at Ring of Honor, like Adam Cole, the Sami Callihans, the AR Foxes, the Samurai Del Sol, who is now becoming the biggest, flashiest thing. Where did all those guys start? Where are they? Oh, they're CZW guys. Oh, wait a minute. The Briscoes, where'd they make their name? Guys like Ruckus, Black G's or Sabian or whatever you want to call him anymore, but it's G's because it's marketable. They all CZW guys. They all bleed yellow and black. I mean, if you talk to Sami and Adam, those guys will tell you, yes, while they're dedicated to their other promotions too, like Dragon Gate USA, like, Ring of Honor, This is their home. They're not doing that craziness here. They're doing something completely, totally different, and it's not what we do, But do we do those things? Hey, Sami Callihan's been in the main event of a Cage of Death. He has bled. He has a zipper scar on the back of his neck from Danny Havoc. All right, but how long did it take to get to that? A year? WWE does the same thing. Ring of Honor's done the same thing. They just do it in a different fashion.
Yes.
And what happens is that we have taken it to a new level, and prior ownership under Zandig went so extreme with it because what was there before. People still to this day have this mindset of ECW was the hardest core thing. No, nowhere near, buddy. Nowhere near. It doesn't even touch us. People are like, New Jack's the crazy. Let me introduce this guy called Nick Gage, who is literally in jail because he's that nuts. They haven't done anything near what we have done, or even myself. I mean, I've had syringes in my body from another man who just put them in there.
I'm sitting here just staring, and like on the side of your head, there's this weird scar.
Pane of glass right there from a double stomp. Double stomp cut me. And I have a pretty bad scar on my back. I mean, I have scars on my arms from things that I've done, not only just in CZW, but other promotions. And it's just, those guys haven't touched what we did. And Zandig realized if we're going to run that building, which was the home for CZW for over 10 years until, obviously, the building has changed managements, and now it's a big empty thing. You can see all the way through it. The crow's nest is gone. I know I was in there 2 weeks. The bathrooms are gone. Everything, it's gone. You can look on the side of the building and see all the way to the end of Foreman Mills now. Because our wrestling school is right across the street. And yes, the camera girl just went, oh my God, that is the worst thing ever. But he realized that we have to give these fans an alternative and something different. And then he turned it up. And at that time, the crowds were insane. They were drawing thousands of people every show because they were turning it up. And it wasn't just that's what every match was. They'd have great wrestling. They'd have cool stories, fun stuff. At the end of the night, you would see Sick Nick Mondo and the Wife Beater, or Zandig, or Lobo, or something along those lines, where it was, oh my God. ECW did the same thing. At the end of the night, you knew you were getting the Dudleys and the Gangsters, and they were just going crazy. But you saw Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam before that,
yep.
And it kind of got buried. And then before them, you might have saw, I don't know, Paul go out there and cut a crazy promo, And before that, you might have seen the Blue World Order or something. And that stuff kind of got buried and diluted because it was seen that they are extreme. And Zandig pushed that. I am kind of cutting that back for a number of reasons, but that's why it was the way it was.
Fair enough. You were talking about WWE. Sometimes people think that's the end all be all as far as wrestling is concerned. Now, let me ask you a question, because this is something that's been brought up a couple of times. Would you prefer, if you had a choice, to be a WWE superstar, where you make it big, you make your money, or would you prefer to be an indie legend?
Oh, I'd easily prefer to be a WWE superstar, because the key word is business and money. If I can make a living off of this, it doesn't matter. But WWE is not for everybody. Vince McMahon has a certain product. He wants a certain type of guy. Everybody, even fans and smart fans, okay, no, Vince, you need to be 6'2" and 250 pounds and jacked, and that is the stereotypical type of guy. They have tons of those guys.
I love the reaction that you just gave there, because that's the same reaction that Al Snow gives whenever he hears somebody say a smart mark. There's no such thing as a smart mark.
There's no such thing as a smart mark. Smart marks already work. They're going to come to shows anyway because they love wrestling. I am a smart mark. I loved wrestling so much that I had to get into it, okay? That's basically what it was. I love it so much I had to do it. It's like sex. All you guys love sex. That's why you do it. That's why you jerk off or flick your mouse or whatever you want to call it. But as far as...
that's a new one for me, but okay.
Click your mouse. Yeah. That's a girl thing. But as far as that, I would prefer to be WWE only because I'd want to make my money. And then you can come out and just look at where we are today. I mean, we're at, Legends of the Ring today doing this interview, and there are guys here that they're making money.
Yeah.
Doing nothing. But WWE is not for everybody. They have a certain type of product. They want a certain type of thing, and that's it. All right? And they only have so many spots. There's only so many jobs you can get. My roster, I get about 5 to 10 emails daily from guys looking for work. Different guys. Some guys, it's the same guys all the time, but I get them daily, because they believe this will get them to that next level. Because we've had a lot of guys that come through CCW that are at WWE that were seen by WWE, and basically what ends up happening is there's tons of guys I would love to do stuff. Man, I wish I could bring in X, Y, and Z and go, man, but I have a full roster, and these are my guys, and this is my crew, and with this full roster, I only have so many jobs. And WWE's the same way. You got 70 developmental guys. There's a road crew for Raw. There's a road crew for SmackDown, which also covers Superstars and NXT, and that's it. Like right now, the economy's dying because there's not enough jobs out there. Well, there's only so many to go around, so they have to create new ones. And, you can't work for, pick something, the Philadelphia Phillies if they ain't hiring.
That's true.
It's one of those things with Vince McMahon. Maybe that's not where you're going to end up, or maybe you're just not what Vince McMahon's looking for. Maybe you're the most talented wrestler in the world, but that's not what he wants to put out there. Maybe he's selling vanilla ice cream and you're chocolate. Well, guess what? Maybe you can't make your money there, but you can go to Japan. Guy that's perfect for that right now, that is a great example of that, is Lord whatever you want to call him, John Bernard, Lord Tensai, whatever. He was Albert in WWE for a long time, and he was not going to get to the next level in WWE. It just wasn't going to happen because he had his run, whatever happened. So he left WWE. He went to New Japan. He was John Bernard. He was a monster there. He's making a whole lot of money. Then Vince McMahon recognized this. He's like, I dropped the ball with this guy. I need to bring him back. He's making even more money now.
Yeah.
But you know what? He figured that WWE wasn't for me. I'm going to Japan. Another guy that's a great example of that right now is MVP. Because he's another guy that's in New Japan. WWE didn't work out for him for whatever the reason. It wasn't that he wasn't, in shape or a good worker. It just wasn't working.
See, but you see a guy like MVP, and you think that, yes, he could probably be used and pushed to that next level in WWE, whereas a guy like A-Train or Albert, he's back. And there's a lot of fans that will see him, and it seems like that glass ceiling is back for him. Yes, he's Lord Tensai, but they're like, he's just Albert.
Well, you got to look at it in a different perspective. There's a lot of new fans. I thoroughly believe that in wrestling, on every show, there's somebody that's, even at CZW, every show, I see new people. Even if the house is down, I see somebody new. He's probably been there for the first time. There's a lot of people that have never seen it. So the same thing goes with WWE. Those kids, they don't know what New... Man, how many people in the wrestling business realistically know what New Japan is? Heck, Vince Russo, which was the funniest thing ever to me last night, because my production team filmed the U-shoot that he did, and one of the questions was, would you ever go work for Ring of Honor? Now, me and you and some people that are in this building all know Ring of Honor, and he goes, well, I don't know. I've never seen Ring of Honor. I don't even know what it is. and like that, just like, to me, that was awesome, because I thought it was hilarious, because in the independent and the smart realm of wrestling, I just said I rolled my eyes again. Everybody knows Ring of Honor. They deem them as, that's the top place. That's the place where everybody wants to go, and blah, 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 blah. And this is a guy who is perceived in the wrestling community as one of the guys this is the guy. It's Vince Russo, the creator of, the Monday Night Raw Super Era and the NWOs and all this other stuff. You don't know who you are. So then that would scratch my head to go, who else doesn't know who they are? Who else doesn't know who we are? Vince McMahon, he even says in this, Vince McMahon had no clue. He was so deranged from the outside world because he was so focused on what he was doing. And there's a lot of people like that. Or, here's another thing. How many people in the United States right now have access to an internet, or that actually go onto a wrestling website? It's probably, somewhere around 10% that actually, the internet isn't accessible to probably about 50% of the United States. All right. So how many people that actually look at wrestling? So now you're down to about 10. How many are actually going to take an interest into Ring of Honor or CZW?
Yeah.
Probably about 1%. That's not a good number. Probably less than 1%, to be honest with you. And it baffles me, it really does. So, if guys like Tensai, they can go make money. So maybe this ain't for you. Maybe you're a little guy. Maybe you don't want to conform and you like doing crazy stuff. Because Vince McMahon outlaws things for his own reasons. and so do other promotions. Maybe you want to be a deathmatch guy. Maybe you like ultra violence. Maybe you just like it. Maybe you just, that's what I do. Maybe you don't like going to the gym. Hey, there's a lot of guys. El Generico does not work out. Okay, he doesn't. I don't know how he does it, but he's El Generico. And he's the most overloved guy you ever seen in your life. Everybody loves Ole and dude, I've been on the road with this man many, many times. I've slept in hotels, on planes next to him. He doesn't work out. He chills. He watches hockey. Okay? You know, and it's him and his crazy Spanish accent. All right? He watches hockey. But WWE's not going to work for him because he's not what Vince wants. But you know what? He makes God amounts of money wrestling. He's wrestled in so many countries. He's like you should see his passport book. It's ridiculous. Maybe that's not for him. Maybe Japan's for him. Or a guy like today, we had Mil Mascaras here today.
Yes.
He's never going to work in WWE. All right? But Mexico and places like that, there's a lot of money down there for guys to be made that in this business, they can become big stars. He's a huge star down there. Great Muta, another guy. He's in WCW for, I don't know, when was it? 90s, I think? He wasn't a top guy. He was nobody. Japan? This is a legend. This is a guy that people like are carrying his bags, and I mean, come on. Yeah. It's like I said, there are certain guys that WWE might not work for. There are certain guys that maybe the independents work for. Maybe because you have kids or you have a past. I happen to be one of those guys that have a past. That might become a problem. Or maybe you had an injury. Like if you get hired by WWE, you have to go to Pittsburgh and take a physical. Okay? You fail that physical. Perfect example of this, Chris Hero.
Yes.
And I'm telling stories because I talk a lot. Chris Hero got offered a deal, took the physical, and his testosterone levels were too high. Chris Hero is not on steroids. He's not on the gas. I've known him. He's helped train me. I love Chris or Cassius Ono or whatever you want to call him anymore. But it's because the man likes to get down. He likes the ladies. He's a ladies' man, all right? Hero is that kind of a guy. So they went, whoa, your testosterone's too high. Really?
What, do they feel threatened?
No, it's not only that they feel threatened, that like it might be, I don't know, but they have a certain standard.
Just to take a certain precaution.
Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley, as I like to call him, but Dean Ambrose, when he went, he's done a lot of death matches, for CZW. And they go, well, what is this scar from?
Yeah.
And you start sitting there saying, well, I worked Nick Gage in this crazy light tube match. We did this show called Tangled Web, and it was me and Sammy, taking on the Naptown Dragons. Vince McMahon might not want that. There are guys at WWE that I know, Patrick Brink, what's his WWE name at FCW? What was it? Caleb O'Neill when he was in FCW.
Okay.
His sister passed away. He went and got a tattoo, a little teeny tattoo of his sister's name for a reminder. They fired him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because he needed permission because he altered his body. If you cut your hair,
yeah,
they can fire you. If you you do anything, they have clauses. They want a certain type of person. If you have a history, a background, anything, they might not want you. So guess what? WWE might not be for you. Maybe you made a mistake. I'll tell you right now. I was an all-American high school football player. I looked like $1 million back in high school. I'm old now and I'm a fat wrestler. But basically, how I got into wrestling is I made a mistake in my real life. All right, and I got locked up for about 1.5 years. And about 2 weeks after I got out, I discovered, and I was the guy who, when I was younger, was sleeping out for pay-per-view tickets, and I had like 2 big screens watching. At Monday Night Raw was on one show, and I was doing it all, man. I'd have parties for pay-per-views and stuff. When Hulk Hogan would lose, I would cry. It was nuts when I was younger, before I got in the business. And then when I got out of jail, I couldn't go back to that. I used to make $150,000 a year. Okay, I don't make anywhere near that now. I pay things for cash. I used to drink a lot. I don't do that anymore. But when I made one choice, I made one bad choice, and basically it changed my life. And, I used to work at banks. I don't work at a bank no more. Now I'm a wrestler. I'm a worker. and I can't go back to that job, and I can't go back to that lifestyle because I made a bad decision, and maybe it wasn't for me. I'm much happier now. I'm always frustrated, and I mean, trust me, I'll complain about anything anytime I'm a negative person, but it was a choice that I made. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe maybe you stole a candy bar when you were 16. Maybe you went on your record and got blown out of proportion. Maybe one person buried you. Wrestling is like that. If somebody doesn't like you, there are lots of guys in WWE now. I'm perfect. Sheamus got a job because Triple H. I mean, not only just Triple H liked him. He's very, very talented, and I love him. I think he's a great, great talent. But he got that job. Brodus Clay, a guy that's here. Tommy Dreamer met him. Brodus Clay was a bouncer, and Tommy looked at him and said, "Man, you should get in the business." He goes, "I love wrestling." And man, he's a bouncer. He's a big bruiser. Now he's out here going, you know what I'm saying, dancing around in a tracksuit. I mean, it's crazy. But like I said, once you get to that, like, maybe something's not for you because of, they could have came up and been like, "You're a fat dude with a mohawk. It's all tattooed up. Man, we don't want to put you on television. What's wrong with you?"
It's not going to look right.
You know what I'm saying? CM Punk, that Bryan Danielson is so over, and he's an amazing heel. He's so over because fans felt that The Office was not giving him his due. That this is an amazing wrestler. Oh, he's little. Man, why are you guys, bad-mouthing him? Because, you're Bryan Danielson, and now he's, it's like when he lost in 18 seconds, I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
Because I'm a booker, and I'm going, oh, my God, guess what tomorrow's going to happen? They're going to have yes, yes, yes shirts, and they're going to make millions of dollars. If you don't believe me, there's 8 people here today that I have saw. There's 2 guys that's sitting across from the CZW table that have on yes, yes, yes shirts. And I'm sitting here going, it probably cost them about $2 to make. They probably just made 40, 50 bucks. I mean, at live shows, they're selling those shirts for $25.
Just walking through the convention floor, you can see the different people that have the gimmicks, the slogans.
Hashtag heel.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. It's all about money. And guess what? Brian gets 5% of every shirt. So guess what he's making? He just made a shitload of money off you. All right? So, as I said, it might not be for everybody. And yes, as I said, for the 3rd time, I talk a lot.
Well, not to take up too much more of your time.
I'll take up all day. I got all day.
Are there any other shows coming up for CZW?
Yes. Our next event is June 9th. It is in Hamilton, Ohio, which is right outside of Dayton. It is a doubleheader with HWA. HWA is a former WWE developmental promotion, which used to be owned and run by Les Thatcher, who is one of my mentors, and I love Les. Currently, though, it is run by a number of different guys. They have some great talent there. CZW will be main eventing that show. And then June 23rd, the annual Tournament of Death.
Yes.
Townsend, Delaware is coming up. We have Big Japan Pro Wrestling Death Match Heavyweight Champion Abdullah Kobayashi. He'll be taking on the Bulldozer Matt Tremont. In what did we call this match? It's kind of a ultra-violent bats match, but I don't think we called it that. I think we called it get hit with shit type of thing. We have CZW Heavyweight, World Heavyweight Champion Masada will be wrestling new guy named Scott Summers. Scott is predominantly known in Texas as probably the baddest guy around, and Masada has never beaten him. We have the ultra-violent golden boy, Drake Younger, taking on Rory Mondo. Obviously, Drake Younger is synonymous with CZW. And Rory Mondo is basically paying homage to his mentor and legend, Sick Nick Mondo. And then we have Danny Havoc and Devin Moore and Lucky 13, which is the Nation of Intoxication. All 3 of them are going to do a drunken scaffold match, which literally basically means every time you go to the top of the scaffold, you have to take a shot of Jack Daniels. Every time the referee counts a pinfall, he has to take a shot.
Oh.
So it's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing match. And, it's going to have some craziness, and you're going to see some ultra-violence. And then there is the Runaways, former partners, now bitter enemies, are taking on each other. It's Joe Gacy versus Ryan Slater in a Fans Bring the Weapons match. And there may be some other hijinks on the show. But
what's the website for all that?
czwrestling.com. And you can check out all of our events live and our iPay-per-views. Best production in the business on hybrident.tv.
Sounds great. DJ, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.